Hello, my name is Demetrio from the University of Illinois' American Nuclear Society Student Chapter, and today we're going to address some of the common myths surrounding nuclear power. This is Clearing the Air on Nuclear Power. Now we're going to talk to some students on campus about their opinions on nuclear power. Do you think nuclear power is safe?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
I wouldn't say it's safe, but it is essential, I guess.
When asked what their main concern with nuclear power is, the common answer is radiation. I'm going to start by pointing out that the Simpsons lied to you. Radiation does not cause three-eyed fish, and radioactive waste isn't dumped into lakes. So let's talk about radiation. Now, radiation might sound scary due to movies and other media that we've seen, but it's actually not as scary as it sounds, and it's a lot more common in our everyday lives than we might think. So, to begin, let's talk about where radiation comes from. Radiation is simply a form of energy that comes from either electromagnetic waves, like the sun rays, or from the movement of subatomic particles. And actually, you and I are both radioactive due to the decay of our atoms. Now, most of us have seen the nuclear power plant from afar, and have seen all of that smoke coming out of the big towers. But did you know that that smoke is actually not smoke at all, but in fact is steam from cooling the nuclear power plant? Nuclear power plant's only byproduct is steam and spent nuclear fuel. In fact, the radiation released by coal plants, specifically the coal ash, is 100 times more radioactive than spent nuclear fuel. Now, next time you look at a nuclear power plant, you'll know that that tall tower is not releasing smoke, but steam, and doesn't actually house the reactor. But the dome in the American design near it is what actually houses the reactor. Now, for people who live near a nuclear power plant, they actually will receive more radiation from the cosmic rays from the sun than they will from living near the nuclear power plant. Now let's talk more specifically about the three main types of radiation that we're concerned with: alpha radiation, beta radiation, and gamma radiation. Alpha radiation is basically just a helium nucleus, while beta radiation is basically an electron, and gamma radiation is basically a wave. Now, alpha radiation while it's so big, it moves slowly and can be stopped by something as thin as paper. Beta can make its way through the paper, but will be stopped by something denser like aluminum foil. And gamma has a much better penetrating power and can get through both, but needs to be stopped by something really dense like lead. So now that we know more about radiation, let's talk about where that radiation comes from: nuclear waste, and what we like to do with our waste. For simplicity, we're going to use the cooling tower for this diagram. Now, after nuclear fuel has been spent, it becomes waste. Now, what do we do with our waste? Well, nuclear waste can go to one of two places. It can go to reprocessing, or it can go to storage. In America, currently our waste is stored on site at a nuclear power plant, but in other parts of the world, the storage goes to a place called a repository. What's a repository? Well, I'm glad you asked. So let's talk about nuclear storage, more specifically, the repository. If storage is chosen, the nuclear fuel is placed in a large pool for a year until it is cooled to manageable temperatures. Then it is placed in a steel, reinforced, thick concrete cylinder with 3 lids that are either welded or bolted shut, called a dry cask, which are those little squares on the bottom, making leakage nearly impossible even if struck by a rocket train. These are then placed underground under something like a mountain, making them impossible to get to or to extract. We'd like to thank you for watching this video, created by American Nuclear Society, University of Illinois Student Chapter.